7 o'clock. A lot to get into this morning, but we want to talk to Sid Miller right now. He's the commissioner of Texas's Department of Agriculture, who was recently with the president at his rally in El Paso. Sid, you're in much demand this morning. Thanks for jumping on the radio with us. How you doing?
Hey, I'm just dandy. Thank you. Glad to be on.
Hey, where are you from in Texas, man? I'm a Jersey guy, but I sure do love the Lone Star State. Where are you from in Texas?
Well, I'm west of Fort Worth. My farm and ranch is close to a little town called Stephenville.
Yeah, wow, man. You know what's so funny? Sid, down there, too, ranches, like the King Ranch, they're like 10,000 acres or something ridiculous like that, right? You forget how big they are, right?
It's a lot bigger than that. That's a little one.
In Jersey, man, you can't even get that land, man. I'm telling you. Hey, Commissioner, appreciate you being with us. We all watched that rally in El Paso. What was it like being there, sir?
You know, it was great. A lot of enthusiasm. People everywhere. The stadium was packed full. They had to turn people outside.
Yeah,
Another 10,000 people outside, and it was just pandemonium around there. I've never seen it. You know, I've been to other rallies. I have seen it, but it was just pandemonium. The people were just going wild. They love the president.
And you had an opportunity to travel with the president himself. What was that like?
Well, we got to ride in the Beast with him. It was good. We had a lot of good discussion. He asked me advice about the border. I was used to serve as chairman of Homeland Security, so he asked me about the wall and what kind of difference it made in El Paso. And we got in an argument over what was the best Western movie ever made.
Go ahead.
He thought it was the good, the bad, the ugly. I told him it was Tombstones, but we never did come to an agreement on that.
Hey, you were inside the Beast, though, man. That is something else, huh? Is it big? I mean, because you have the glass has got to be so thick. I mean, is it a little claustrophobic in there? And Donald Trump's a big guy. The president is a big guy. Is it tight?
Yes. We sat in the back seat. Of course, it's a two-seater, and the seats face each other. So
right.
Yeah, it's got like truck tires on it. It's a monster. That's why that's why they call it the Beast. It's a Cadillac, but it's been stretched and modified and bulletproof.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. Pretty cool ride.
Yeah. Well, tell us about Commissioner Sid Miller. Tell us about the wall and how effective the wall will be once it is built, sir.
Well, we've got a lot of it built, about 600 miles of it, but we're not through. And I told the president, I said, Mr. President, I think you've got to come back on these Democrats saying that the wall is immoral. He said, what do you mean? I said, well, I'll tell you what's immoral. If you don't do the humanitarian thing, build the wall. He said, what? I said, well, you got people that they herd them up here 1,000 miles just like cattle. I said, they get to the border, the women and children are abused, sometimes raped. I said, the young men are recruited in the MS-13 gangs, and the rest of them, many of them are turned into drug mules to smuggle dope across. I said, they get them across, something goes bad, they abandon them, dehydrate. I said, I've seen the dead bodies out there. I said, it's awful what we're doing to these people. I said, you want to do the humanitarian thing, you want to do the morally correct thing, build that wall and direct all that traffic to legal ports of entry. He said, oh, man, yeah, that's right. I hadn't thought about that. So he talked about that, later in his speech.
And the president, you think he's doing the right thing by declaring a national emergency?
Oh, I do. I mean, we should have done this a long time ago. If we'd have been so far ahead. If we'd have built, finished what we started, 10 years ago.
Yeah, and they would have paid, and they were ready to pay for it. The other side was ready to pay for it, Commissioner. Correct?
Oh, the money was allocated. Like I said, it's not build the wall; it's finish the wall. I mean, we've got like 600 miles of it.
Yeah.
So 2,000 miles. So we need probably another 600 would do it.
Yeah.
A lot of it's natural barriers there where the Rio Grande runs, big deep canyons, and doesn't really lend itself to building a wall or a barricade.
Commissioner, too, I know you got television tugging on you there. Just a couple more questions, if I may, sir. Has the crime indeed in El Paso dropped since the introduction of that border wall?
Well, it has. And, what happened when I was chairman back in 2011 of Homeland Security, not just El Paso, but most all of the border towns would kind of cook the books when they turned in their crime stats. None of them wanted to be the highest crime city in the United States.
Uh-huh.
They didn't want to lose their tourism. Couldn't attract business. University of Texas El Paso, students wouldn't come out there. So, they cooked the books. They didn't, report it exactly right. So the records won't show that El Paso was the highest crime city, but I promise you, Joe, it was bad, really bad. We put the wall up. and it just about fixed it. I mean, last year there was 1,100 murders across the river in Juarez. El Paso had 23. 23 is too many, but 23 versus 1,100. That's kind of the proof that the wall works.
Why can't you're right, and thanks for bringing that up. Across the border in Mexico, it's like a bloodbath over there. Yes.
Oh, it is. It's terrible what goes on over there. I mean,
wow.
It's just awful. We've there's murders all up and down that border.
Yeah, yeah. And why? So before we let you go, Commissioner, why is there so much opposition to it? Is it just anti-Donald Trump? Is that what we're seeing?
They're certainly not thinking about what's best for America. It just makes no, I say, they just have no cowboy logic. People call it common sense. I say, you got to stop this. I mean,
yeah.
What's good for our country? Not letting just everybody, a porous border is not good for our country.
Yeah.
We're letting people and look, I feel sorry for those people, Joe. I mean, they want to come up here and better their life. Let's help them do it. Let's give them a legal pathway.
Yes,
let's work on our guest worker program. What's happening to them is immoral right now. It really is. It's just sad.
Yeah, Commissioner Sid Miller, Commissioner of Texas's Department of Agriculture, and we appreciate you jumping on with us. Come back again. Keep us posted down there because I could tell, man, that something about Texas, Commissioner. I don't know what it is, but I fell in love with it first time I went down there, man. I don't know. I played Austin. I did tour down there. It's just the whole. It's a great country, and you make us proud. To be American, sir. So keep us posted and come back soon. Would you do that?
You bet. You know what they say, Joe? You can always tell a Texan. You just can't tell us much.
Thanks, Commissioner. Thanks so much. Commissioner Sid Miller right there with the president down there.